I think the best way to break habits, and this is completely obvious, is to do the opposite of what you would regularly do. For instance, it's like completely changing your whole lifestyle and rewiring your brain. My pattern is like just going grocery shopping. My pattern is to go in the mornings to avoid the rush. Now, the opposite would be to go when it's busy, right in the middle of the day. I mean, the reason why I don't like to go in the middle of the day is because I don't like to wait in lines. I hate waiting. Well, instead of avoiding it, take it on. Accept it. Instead of avoiding talking to people, go talk to them. Now, it's just like anything else. You gotta do things a little bit a little bit at once. You can't just like quit everything at once. The only way people can quit everything at once is if they suffer extreme pain, like real bad pain, breakups or somebody passing away. It kind of like resets them. It busts them out of their normal routine. What I'm trying to say is getting out of your normal routine. I think that especially when you get to be older, you just get stuck in the same routine over and over. And I think like humans are wired to stick in the same routine. And I'm not a psychologist, and I don't know if any of this like means anything. But I think that rewiring your brain is like breaking your routine. I think that your neurons, like I said, I'm not a neurologist or nothing, obviously. Your neurons, you're used to firing with the same neurons. So when I take the same path to the grocery store or to work every day, I don't even have to think. I can be on autopilot. But doing something different out of my normal routine, it makes me have to like be more conscious and think more. And I think that's a huge thing when it comes to preventing dementia, or at least postponing it. I think as soon as you have dementia, you're pretty much done. You have too much of your brain that is dead, and you can't make new brain cells. But what I'm saying is the brain cells that would, and I don't know, man, I could be completely wrong, but I think if you just use the same brain cells, the same neurons that fire with each other all the time, I think that it kind of like stops your brain. Not stops. It kills brain cells in the long term. I think that's what like brings on dementia a lot. Obviously, there's other factors like your diet and not exercising. But I think that I've heard doctors say this, if you don't use it, you lose it. And when he was talking about brain cells, so it makes sense to like switch things up. It's just like when you're working out, and I've said this before, if you work out the same muscle, the same weight, same reps, your muscle will get used to it. It won't grow anymore. It'll plateau. But if you like confuse it, switch it up, that's when you get growth. Confusing the muscle. I think that confusing the brain, forcing it to think, even if it's something dumb as taking a different path to the grocery store or to work, it's causing you to think more. I'm wondering if people who use technology, all the technology we have, and we don't have to like really think, and we can just have our brain on autopilot most of the time. I wonder if dementia is going to be huge in the future, like gigantic. We have here in America, at least, we have a bunch of sedentary people who have bad diets, who probably do the same thing over and over again. Don't want to try new things. Don't want to be in new environments. I'm wondering if that contributes to dementia, because they say you want to do like word games and learning a new language, and I think like learning an instrument too. Usually people who are old don't learn a new instrument, or any instrument at that point. Why is that? I think it's because they're shutting off parts of their brain, and that part of your brain is just dying. This is why it seems like where people are NPCs, it seems like why there's a lot of NPC people and they can't think for themselves, is because everything is on autopilot pretty much for them, and they live in a bubble. They probably do the same thing all the time. Like when you go to a restaurant or something, like always ordering the same thing, not trying anything different. I don't know. Maybe it's a bunch of rubbish. Maybe all the stuff I'm talking about, but it's just a bunch of rubbish. But it makes me, it just makes me wonder if you break your path or your routine, it just like it fires, and it sucks, man. It sucks because we like to take the easiest way. Humans like to take the easiest path. We don't like to take the hard path. Generally speaking. And you can see that with the American population. Hell, you can look at me, man. I have that same problem. Getting stuck into the same routine, the same rut. The rat race. How to get out of the rat race. It's the same thing. Like the rat race is basically you go to work and then you pretty much you might have a little bit of money extra at the end of the day, but then you use that for like a reward from getting through the day, or you blow it on the weekend. So you're not ever getting ahead. Instead of like maybe not necessarily saving money, but investing, you want to give yourself a reward to give you that dopamine rush. People like to drink a lot, so you don't get anywhere. This has been my problem with food. But yeah, I'm wondering. Anyway, I think that it's interesting to think about.